Hello, Argyle ISD community. This is your Superintendent, Courtney Carpenter, here today with our CFO, Liz Stewart, and we're going to be providing you an update presentation on our Bond 2025. While we will be coming to the community to do some of our presentations, we wanted to provide you an on-demand version that's convenient for you. So let's get started. The Argyle ISD Bond Program is focused on managing rapid enrollment growth and enhancing facilities and resources for both immediate and long-term planning. We're going to start today with a little bit of the state of the district. The Argyle ISD mission statement is a district built on tradition and values, committed to providing an exceptional educational experience for each student through meaningful opportunities in a safe and caring environment. This is one of our very own Argyle graduates, and as you can see, this student was involved in a lot of different things built on tradition and values, from core academics to extracurricular activities. A few academic points of pride, just as a state of the district, is Argyle ISD supports 36 different languages in our district. We have 81% of our students, our high school students, enrolled in advanced placement courses, scoring 3 or higher and earning college credit. Our SAT and ACT scores exceed regional, national, and state levels. We also host our own SAT school day opportunity for students, and we are continuing to work on building our national merit finalist programs in Argyle High School. While 37 students at Argyle High School this year have also received national recognition from the College Board. One of the things that's important to this district is to make sure that we are comparing ourselves to high-achieving districts across the state. You can see here that Argyle ISD likes to compare to Melissa, Aledo, Lovejoy, Flower Mound High School, Lake Travis, Dripping Springs, Eanes, which is Austin Westlake, and South Lake Carroll. Extracurricular points of pride include 13-time UIL Lone Star Cup champions, and the UIL Lone Star Cup includes academics, fine arts, and athletics. We have 25 state championships across 8 different sports, and we have an 8-time marching band state champion, tied for the most state titles in the state. We have a comprehensive theater program with full productions across our middle schools and our high schools. Argyle ISD is a fast growth district. We have a 5-year average growth rate of 12%. Just this year, our elementary, which is grades pre-K through 5th grade, are averaging 13.7% growth. And you can see here in this graph the incremental growth rate across the last 5-year span. From a district enrollment and future projections, we work with Zonda Education Demographer. Zonda is also the demographer that works with many of the fast growth districts in the DFW area. And you can see here that according to our most recent demographic report, which was given to us in November 2024, we have currently an enrollment of just over 6,200. We will be at about 9,000 in 5 years and over 11,000 in 10 years. We have increased 687 students, and actually beyond that at this point, since the end of the school year last year, and our largest increases are in pre-K, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, which are our earliest grade levels in the district. We have a district percentage projected change from 25 currently to 10 years from now in 2035 of an 86% growth rate. Zonda Demographics review that was shared with us back in November. Just for everyone that's listening on here today, our district encompasses 35 square miles. So you'll see in the map here our district boundaries. They go from the far north there down to the far south, from Denton down to Flower Mound, as far east as Bartonville, and as far west as North Lake. This covers 5 municipalities. Within the 35 square miles, the town of Argyle is only 11 square miles of that portion. There are 28 active subdivisions according to Zonda Demographics, and there are 16 future subdivisions in various stages of plannings. Of these, the groundwork is underway in more than 917 lots currently within 6 subdivisions. Some of the key growth takeaways from the fall demographic report include that we have had over 687 students new just this year. We have surpassed the 2022 and 2023 totals for new home constructions. There are 28 active subdivisions and 630 available lots, with 16 future subdivisions, and we have over 7,000 future lots in development. There are currently 900 lots under construction, and as mentioned a few moments ago, we will reach 9,100 students within the next 5 years and over 11,000 students in the next 10 years. I'm going to ask Ms. Stewart now to talk a little bit about financial and academic accountability for Argyle ISD.
Thank you, Dr. Carpenter. The financial and academic accountability for Argyle ISD, we've had the state rating of an A for the 22 consecutive years on the first rating. We've been awarded the Debt Obligation Star Award for exemplary efforts in creating financial transparency around public debt.
We've also been working on the 2022 bond that was approved by voters in May of 2022. That bond was just over $260 million. Additionally, it had no tax rate impact for homeowners in Argyle ISD. Elementary number 4, which is our current Jane Russman Elementary, opened this past fall in August of 2024. Middle School 1, which will be on the 407 site that's currently underway, will open in the fall of 2026. New construction of elementary number 5 is slated to open at the same 407 site in the fall of 2027. The high school stadium here at Canyon Falls at the current high school is going to open this next fall in 2025, and the indoor activity center as well will open in the fall of 2025. And those projects are all currently under construction. We also have a bond oversight committee. With the bond 2022, the Board of Trustees asked that the district set up a bond oversight committee, which would include community members and be chaired by community members that would help ensure accountability, monitor progress, and have community expertise. And so that committee meets about every 6 weeks and reviews with district staff, and also has 2 trustees on it. And we go over all of the bond programs, all of the bond projects that are going on, timelines, and ensuring accountability with our community. Okay, we're going to now get into the Bond 2025 program. So in August of 2024, district administration sat down in a workshop with the Board of Trustees and discussed moving forward with our previous bond and growth planning committee that helped build last bond, which was in the spring of 24. The Board of Trustees directed the administration to invite the Bond and Growth Planning Committee back to the table if they would like to be a part of that. 30 of those members chose to come back. We originally had about 50. 8 of those were students that had gone on and graduated last year, so they were not available to come back and join us, but we did have 30 community members choose to come back and help give us guidance and a recommendation for moving forward with the next bond program. So they were able to review the latest enrollment growth trends and projections that Zonda Demographics had provided the district in the fall, continued looking at the needs of students and looking at the community priorities, using data to guide those recommendations, supporting educational goals, and also in looking at the safety of the district, and then reviewing the most recent finances with our municipal advisors to make sure we recommend a fiscally responsible bond. That committee came back, and we want to thank them again. They came back during a very busy time of the year, especially when it's in December and January and with all of the holiday breaks, and they did an incredible job bringing back a recommendation to our Board of Trustees that they presented to them in February. So a school bond election, which is what is on the ballot in May for May 3rd, 2025, is when voters get to decide whether a school district can borrow money through bonds to fund major projects like building new schools, renovating facilities, and purchasing land and buses. And these school bonds are included in the I&S portion of the local tax rate, which Ms. Stewart will explain a little bit in just a moment. The committee did recommend, in order to address the growth and planning for long-range projection, 3 key areas. And those areas include new construction projects, existing facility capital improvements, and land acquisition. And this recommendation from the committee came in terms of a long-term plan versus a short-term bond plan, which is what the district has seen in the past. Ms. Stewart?
Thank you, Dr. Carpenter. So as we've talked about in the past, schools are funded by 2 main buckets of tax funds. We have the M&O side, which is the general operating fund. This covers all of our day-to-day expenses, which includes our salaries, utilities, fuel, and supplies. On the debt service fund, or what we like to call the I&S side, that covers major capital projects like school construction, furniture and equipment, renovations for existing facilities, and land acquisition.
This bond program has two propositions. We're going to first start with Proposition A, which is new facilities, infrastructure, and renovations. Then we will talk about Proposition B, which is a baseball, softball facility at the high school located at Canyon Falls. Both of these propositions have a total of just over $423 million, and that is about $80 million less than the 2024 bond proposal. So Proposition A, in terms of new facilities, infrastructure, and renovations, includes elementary number 5 construction escalation. Now, you may think elementary number 5 was on the bond of 2022, and you're absolutely correct. One of the things that we need to explain to everyone that's happened over time with the inflation cost is that when the original bond committee for the 22 bond put their projects into that, no one knew what construction escalation was going to do at that time. So once that bond was passed in 2022, by the time JRE, which is elementary 4, came online, those costs per square foot had escalated dramatically. Just to give you some context, the Argyle West Elementary, which opened in 2019, was built for over $200 a square foot. Argyle South Elementary, which was built in about what was that, Ms. Stewart?
I believe 22, 23.
Okay, so it opened in the fall of 22, was just over $300 a square foot. Jane Russman Elementary, which opened in August of 2024, that one was costing us about $420 a square foot. And so you can see the drastic amounts of escalation that have gone on in a short amount of time. With that being said, then elementary 5, as it was projected back in 2022, now there's not enough funds in that bond program in order to fulfill elementary 5 at the same size that the other elementaries are. And so to be completely transparent, part of that, which is about $15 million, is construction escalation is in this Proposition A. Would there be anything else you would add to that, or does that cover that, Ms. Stewart?
I believe that covers that.
Okay. Elementary number 6 is a new building. It was not in any previous bond, and so elementary number 6 would be projected to open in 2930. So that would be on Proposition A. Middle School 2 would be projected to open in 2029-30. And you might be thinking, we just are now building a middle school. You're absolutely correct. But the moment we move into that middle school in 2026 and we transition to 2 middle schools, we are already at that building, right below that building's capacity. So our pinch point here in this bond definitely is with our middle schools as our elementary students and those high enrollment grade levels begin to matriculate up. And so this bond has a second middle school in it that would be projected to open in the 29-30 school year. And then also being able to be proactive enough to have the planning and designing for middle school 3 within this 10-year program, because we would need to be building, or we would need to be actually planning and designing it by 2030 for an on-time opening in 2034, which would take a future bond for that construction project. But the planning and designing would be in Proposition A now. Additionally, in Proposition A are capital improvements for existing facilities at Hilltop Elementary, the 6th grade center, and Argyle Middle School, which is the Highway 377 campus. And these projected completion windows would be anywhere from the 2027 to the 2030 timeframe. And they include upgrades to site, exterior and interior, and also mechanical, plumbing, and engineering. Additionally, as we know, Argyle Middle School 377 campus is going to convert back to a high school in the 2027 school year. We have built in, or it was recommended by the committee to build in a kitchen expansion at the 377 campus. It's not adding any student capacity, but there is some kitchen expansion and some equipment upgrades for the coffee bar at that area for the dining options for our students. Anything else as far as the capital improvements that you would add to that, Ms. Stewart?
No, I believe all of that's covered in the capital improvements, mainly just the exterior, interior, and the MP&E items.
Okay, so what if someone was asking about the amount of the last bond that actually did upgrades at the 6th grade center? Would you talk just a little bit about the things that weren't included in that? So that's what we are addressing now.
Yes, in the 2017 bond, there were renovations for the 6th grade center. At that point in time, it was called the intermediate school. Now it's the 6th grade center, and we did do some updates there. However, we didn't do all the updates needed for an aging facility, and so the remaining of those updates are included in this bond proposition in Proposition A. And again, it covers upgrades to the site on the exterior, some in the interior, and the MP&E in that building, as well as the gymnasium area there that wasn't included in the renovation before.
Additionally, in Proposition A is a capital improvement at Argyle High School at the Canyon Falls campus. This includes a connector to connect the academic wings to reduce congestion at the apex of those two wings. This came up as our students that were in our bond committee in the fall of 2023 really gave us an insight as to what the congestion looked like in that building as they would pass through passing periods. And so the committee felt very strongly about making sure that we include in this bond the opportunity for the hallway connector there, as you can see in the picture on the rendering, if you will, that's on this slide. It would be about 11,000 square feet. 5,500 square feet on each floor. It would aesthetically match the existing architectural language. And just to reiterate, this connector does not add any student enrollment capacity. It simply reduces the congestion and allows the students to flow on both ends of those buildings. The other portions of Proposition A include land and offsite costs for future schools. We have in here built-in elementary school number 7 site up to 15 acres. Typically an elementary site is anywhere from 12 to 15. A future middle school site up to 35 acres. Middle school site tends to be anywhere from 30 to 35 acres. And a future high school site up to 120 acres. Both current high schools that we will have starting in 2027, those capacities of 1,300 and about 2,000 will only get us so far. We will have to be looking at a future third high school eventually outside of this 10-year window, but we have to start thinking about the land purchasing of that. So that would be in this Proposition A as well. A high school site could be anywhere from about 70 to 120 acres. The current high school here at Canyon Falls sits on about 100 acres. The 377 high school site sits on about 65 acres. So there's a range, as you can see there. Additionally, transportation parking. As our transportation fleet grows, we need additional parking space. We have run out of room over at the current transportation facility located by Eagle Stadium. And then this proposition also includes new school buses for growing enrollment and ridership. The final component of Proposition A includes technology infrastructure. You might be thinking that we had technology on the spring 2024 bond, Proposition C, and that it passed, and you're absolutely correct. However, that was for one-to-one devices for our students in 6th through 12th grade. This portion of Proposition A is not student devices. This is going to be technology classroom infrastructure, like your classroom interactive displays, as you can see in this picture here. I have the student teaching at the front. You also have the wireless access points. This is helping enhance our Wi-Fi access on our campuses and across our facilities, along with the classroom phones that call into the classrooms from the main office. Additionally, it would be upgrading our security cameras and door access, and that is not related to our strategic panic alert system, our badge system that we all wear. That is not the same thing. Proposition A also includes the public address system, our PA system upgrades, update cabling for networking, which is in switches. All of that helps enable our Wi-Fi, our network operations center, and then additionally technician vans for daily multi-campus work. District technology technicians are on campuses all day, every day, in between all of our campuses across 35 square miles, and we have more and more campuses to get to and more facilities. Okay, we're going to move on to Proposition B. Proposition B is a standalone proposition with one project, and that is required by law. It is a special use project of baseball, softball facilities at Canyon Falls. And this project would include a field house for baseball and softball with coaches' offices. It will also include grandstands for spectators. It would be the boys and girls locker rooms for baseball, softball, track, and cross country. Bullpens, batting cages, fencing and wall pads, turf fields, along with our concession stands, restrooms, and storage buildings. Our high school students currently they actually commute to the 377 campus to compete and practice on a daily basis. Before school, after school, our students are driving themselves to the 377 campus for baseball and softball. So this would provide Argyle High School students at the Canyon Falls campus to have their facilities on site. And then as we open the second high school in the fall of 2027, both programs would have their facilities on their campuses. Some may ask, why can they not share? Coach Rogers has done a great job sharing this out in the community, and you will be seeing some videos of him as well coming out. But one of the things he shares is that you would not have basketball teams sharing gyms across the district from two different high schools. While you can share a football stadium, you cannot necessarily share those facilities. Same thing with baseball, softball. We have multiple teams from sub-varsity to varsity practicing multiple days a week and playing multiple days a week, all at the same facilities. So this would allow the Canyon Falls campus to have their on-site facilities. All right, Ms. Stewart, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you talk a little bit about tax rate.
Thank you, Dr. Carpenter. So if the 2025 bond is approved by voters, there will be no tax rate impact from the bond, meaning your tax rate will not increase. And the reason is we are at 50 cents on our I&S tax rate. That is as high as that tax rate can go. Right now, factors that would contribute to our ability to issue bonds without increasing the district's current tax rate, of course, is our growth and developments. If you look around, you see all the new homes being built. You see some new commercial growth coming in. All of that value growth contributes to our ability to pay tomorrow with 50 cents what we couldn't pay for today with 50 cents. Okay, so looking at our tax rate over the last few years, our tax rate has decreased by 30 cents. If you go back to 2020 and all the way through 2024, that decrease comes on our M&O side of the tax rate. That is from state law compressing that rate. If you'll remember back in 23, the state legislature did a property tax relief bill, and every district was impacted by that. Our district particularly, we had over 18.5 cents decrease in that 1 year alone on the M&O side. And by law, that will continue to decrease our M&O rate. And it depends on the growth throughout the state compared to our growth, how much we do decrease each year. Okay, for ballot language, our state mandates that we must have certain language on our ballot. The ballot must say this is a property tax increase. Again, we just discussed how the rate will not increase. However, the property tax does increase because we see that we will project we will be at 50 cents longer than we would be without the bond because we are adding more debt over several years than we would without the bond. But our tax rate will not be increased by this proposition.
So, Ms. Stewart, let's explain that then, because when we were sharing this with our PTA and PTO presidents yesterday, they had a really good question. They're like, you're telling us the tax rate's not going to change, that we're maintaining the current tax rate, but yet the ballot says this is a property tax increase. So something has to give. So can you explain the ballot, please?
Of course. So as you see on your screen, we've got examples here of what your, take a taxable home value of $500,000, for example. Our tax rate is currently $1.21, so that would be approximately $6,400 in estimated taxes on that. So if the bond passes, you'll see there the tax rate remains the same, $1.21. The taxable assessed home value is still $500,000, and your estimated taxes due would still be the same. However, each year, historically here, in the past several years, our tax values have increased on our homes. So in this example, we show that the taxable home value next year could potentially be $525,000. The tax rate, however, is still the same, $1.21. But since the home value, the taxable home value has increased, the amount of taxes that you owe on that home has increased as well. So when we talk about that the rate is not going up, we're talking specifically about the Argyle ISD tax rate. However, the market drives the appraised value, which is done by the Denton Central Appraisal District. And that historically, those values have increased over time, which does increase your taxes due each year.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. We also, for those of you that would like to check that, we have a tax rate calculator on our website, and you'll be able to find that from our Bond 2025 website. And you can put in your taxable home value, and you can see exactly what the $1.21, how it is currently, and after the bond it would be the same, how that number does not change as far as your current taxable home value.
Okay, if you are a senior citizen, 65 and older, and you have a current homestead exemption on your property, your taxes are frozen, so this bond would not impact the taxes due on your home.
Okay, so we have voting dates here for you that are very important. So the deadline to register to vote for the May 3rd election is Thursday, April 3rd. So that is coming up pretty quickly. Early voting starts Tuesday, April 22nd and runs through Tuesday, April 29th. The last day to receive application for ballot by mail is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. So if you have someone that is a registered voter that will not be in the county and during this time frame, they can do an absentee ballot, and there's some restrictions on that, but your deadline to have that turned in is April 22nd. Election day is Saturday, May 3rd. The deadline for the county to receive the absentee ballot by mail is 7:00 p.m. on election day. So there's some opportunities there for people that might be out of the county during this election cycle. Make sure you check out the Denton County election site for more details on that. As far as early voting locations, Denton County, you can vote at any of the Denton County early voting locations, but specifically here in our area, Argyle Town Hall will be an early voting location. The Denton Fire Station number 7 will be an early voting location, as well as the Denton County Southwest Courthouse here in Canyon Falls and the North Lake Town Hall. Those are all early voting locations. Argyle ISD has a dedicated website for Bond 2025. You can actually get there by going to our main district website, and there is a button on the front page for Bond 2025, so you can go to that. It's chock full of information from Proposition A to Proposition B to the financials to the tax rate calculator, and there's also an FAQ section. So as we've been getting questions out in our community, we're adding those on a daily basis. If you have questions you would like to submit, please send them to Just Ask Argyle, and we will get you answers and most likely add those to the FAQ page. Thank you for joining us today. We want you to get informed on everything regarding Bond 2025. Use your voice and get out and vote. Go Eagles!